Chosen one, this is not a coincidence. Heaven has brought you here by divine appointment. You are standing on holy ground, at the edge of a supernatural shift that will change everything about your life. What you are about to hear is not another message. It is a decree written in the courts of heaven before time began. You are standing in the moment where the unseen becomes seen, where delay turns into delivery, where divine wealth begins to find its rightful owner, you. Anointed one, the season of just surviving has ended. The doors that once refused to open are trembling now because the King has issued your release. The same hand that fed Elijah in famine is about to feed you in abundance. This is not the promise of man, this is the confirmation of heaven. The blessing of the Lord makes rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Proverbs 10:22. Chosen one, heaven is transferring resources, ideas, favor, and access into your hands. You are not losing ground, you are being repositioned for overflow. Breathe deeply, for the atmosphere around you has shifted. The divine transfer has begun. Chosen one, listen carefully. This is not another message passing through your feed. This is heaven calling your name in real time. The reason you're hearing this is because a divine transaction is already in motion. Something in the unseen has shifted, and what once looked like loss is about to reveal itself as transfer. You are standing on sacred ground, the edge of divine exchange, where what was taken from you will be returned in multiplied form. You've been sensing it, haven't you? That subtle stirring in your spirit, that unease that feels both uncomfortable and holy at the same time. It's because the place you're in can no longer contain the version of you heaven has built. You were never meant to remain in survival mode. This next chapter is not about endurance, it's about emergence. What looks like instability is really divine relocation. Heaven is making room for the new you to rise. Anointed one. I know what it feels like when life begins to shake around you, when familiar doors close, when people change, when comfort begins to vanish. I've been there. I know what it means to stare at the unknown, wondering if what you built is about to collapse. But hear me, the shaking is not your downfall, it's your divine summons. When God decides to shift your environment, he doesn't always send an announcement. Sometimes he sends pressure. That's how heaven packs your bags. The place you are about to lose is not punishment, it's preparation. It's God saying, you've outgrown this. Every delay, every rejection, every unexpected ending has been heaven's way of evicting you from limitation. You prayed for abundance, and heaven answered, but abundance requires space. That's why he's pushing you out of what feels safe. This isn't eviction, it's expansion. Chosen one, don't let fear disguise itself as wisdom. Sometimes what looks like loss is divine logic in motion. You've been carrying too much divine potential to stay confined in a place that no longer serves your assignment. Your name is already being spoken in rooms you haven't walked into yet. The connections that will unlock your next season are aligning, even now. The delay was never denial, it was divine design, timing itself perfectly with your readiness. There were seasons when you had to learn to depend on provision that came day by day just enough to survive. But this time, heaven is shifting you from daily bread to kingdom overflow. The old system that sustained you cannot support what you are about to carry. You've been faithful with little, and heaven has marked you for much. This is the hour of divine transfer, not just of money, but of mantle, of mission, of meaning. The resources you need are being reassigned to you. What belonged to another season is being redistributed to your hands. You will not have to chase it. It will find you. God is not simply restoring balance, he's restoring order. The very ground that felt unstable beneath your feet will soon testify that heaven was rebuilding your foundation. Chosen one, pause for a moment. Feel that? That's not anxiety, that's activation. The Spirit of God is quickening your awareness, preparing you to receive. You are not losing, you are being launched. You are not being diminished, you are being deployed. The old chapter is closing, but it's heaven turning the page, not the world ending your story. Stay alert. The divine hand that disrupted your comfort is the same one guiding your next step. What you thought was eviction is elevation. Chosen one, this is where the story turns. The ground beneath your feet is shifting, not to throw you off balance, but to position you for revelation. You are walking through a divine corridor right now, one that closes behind you so you can't return to what was, and opens only when your spirit is ready for what's next. Heaven has seen the silent nights when you wondered if you missed something, if maybe you took a wrong turn somewhere. You didn't. You were being rerouted by grace. Sometimes God hides direction in disruption. The delay wasn't meant to punish you, it was heaven's way of pulling you out of danger before you even knew it existed. The reason your plans fell apart was because God saw what you couldn't see, and mercy intercepted the outcome. Anointed one, you've been faithful in the shadows, serving quietly, loving deeply, forgiving when no one noticed, standing when no one clapped. That hidden obedience has been recorded in heaven's archives. Every time you chose surrender over control, you built spiritual equity. Every tear you sowed in silence has become currency in the unseen. And now, heaven is ready to cash in that harvest. This is not just a financial transfer, it's a favor transfer. God is about to place you in environments where influence will meet integrity. You won't have to force entry, doors will recognize your name. People will assume you've just arrived, but heaven knows you've been in training for this. The long nights, the quiet prayers, the strange isolation, all of it was preparation for recognition. Chosen one. Don't be surprised when the space you're in starts to feel too small, when the job that once fulfilled you now feels empty, or when the friendships that once nourished you suddenly lose depth. That's not betrayal, that's breakthrough. God is creating discomfort to move you from maintenance to manifestation. The old version of you cannot carry the new assignment. There's a shift happening not just around you, but within you. Your discernment is sharpening, your tolerance for trivial conversations is fading. You can feel heaven reprogramming your priorities. That's because you're being called to operate on a higher frequency, one where your peace becomes your passport and your presence becomes proof of the divine. I remember when I went through my own divine displacement. I lost a place I thought I'd always belong, a job I prayed for, a community I loved. It felt cruel at the time, like something sacred had been stripped from me. But I learned that when God removes you from a place, He's not taking something from you, He's taking you to something greater. Months later, the same loss became my liberation. I saw doors open I could never have engineered, opportunities I wasn't even looking for. Heaven didn't forget me. It was simply waiting for my willingness to let go. Anointed one, that's where you are right now. Heaven is rearranging your surroundings to align with your anointing. This isn't instability, it's inheritance. You're being relocated to the coordinates of your calling. What looks like a downgrade in the natural is actually an upgrade in the spirit. The place you're leaving cannot sustain the favor that's coming. Don't fight the eviction, bless it, because every step away from what's familiar is a step into what's promised. And when the transition feels too heavy, remember this: the same God who closed the door is standing on the other side of it, waiting with open arms. Chosen one. Hear me clearly, the pressure around you is not random, it is prophetic. The environment that once embraced you is beginning to reject you because your spiritual frequency no longer matches its atmosphere. When heaven elevates you, it first disconnects you, not because you're being punished, but because what once fed you can no longer sustain you. Anointed one, I know the sting of this season. When people you trusted start growing distant, when opportunities you prayed for suddenly fade, when doors that once swung open now stay shut no matter how hard you knock. But this is not loss, it's divine pruning. Heaven is cutting away what can't go where you're going. There are things in your life that have expired, and God is not asking your permission to remove them. He's preparing you for something heavier glory. The weight of glory is not measured in comfort, but in capacity. And heaven will never pour a fresh anointing into a container that's still holding yesterday's oil. That's why the shaking feels personal, because it is. You are the vessel heaven is refining for divine distribution. Chosen one, this next phase of your journey is not about survival, it's about stewardship. Heaven is entrusting you with resources, revelation, and reach. But before the release, there must be realignment. You've been praying for open doors, but God is making sure your heart can handle the room. You've been asking for overflow, but heaven is ensuring your character won't waste the blessing. I've lived through that process. There was a time I thought I was losing everything: friends, security, plans I worked years for. But what I didn't realize then was that heaven was decluttering my life. Every exit was making space for the arrival of destiny. Every closed door was clearing noise that kept me from hearing instruction. It's strange how we call it loss when God calls it launch. Anointed one, you're standing in that tension now between what you can't stay in and what hasn't yet fully appeared. But the space between endings and beginnings is sacred. It's the wilderness that forges warriors. It's the cocoon that births flight. Don't rush this. Heaven does its best work in silence. The reason you're being moved isn't just to bless you, it's to position you. God isn't only transferring resources, He's transferring responsibility. You're not just being promoted, you're being prepared to carry light into systems still trapped in shadow. This isn't about material gain, it's about mission. You are being trusted with influence because heaven knows your hands won't corrupt it. Chosen one, your obedience is your passport. Every time you say yes to what doesn't make sense, the unseen realm shifts in your favor. What you can't see yet is already responding to your faith. Angels are moving ahead of you, preparing opportunities that will seem sudden but are actually scheduled. The suddenlies of God are never spontaneous, they are strategic. So when you feel the ground shaking beneath your feet, don't ask, "Why is this happening?" Ask, "What is heaven aligning?" Because right now, heaven is writing a new chapter with your name on it. The move you feared is the move that will free you. And when the dust settles, you'll realize you didn't lose a place, you gained a promise. Chosen one, you've entered a divine crossroad. What you see as instability is actually invitation, an opening into something sacred, something written in your destiny long before you knew what faith would cost you. The ground may be shaking, but heaven is steady. What feels like loss is heaven's way of creating movement where you once settled for stillness. Anointed one, this is not the kind of moment where everything makes sense. It's the kind where God whispers, "Trust me anyway," and that whisper carries more authority than the loudest storm. There are seasons when obedience doesn't reward you instantly, it repositions you secretly, and that's where you are right now. Hidden movement, silent miracles, quiet preparation for public revelation. You may be watching opportunities slip away: the house you wanted, the contract you thought was yours, the door you were sure heaven had opened. But remember this, sometimes God lets a door close not because it was wrong, but because it was too small. You're about to walk through something that can't be measured by square footage or salary. This is a kingdom relocation. Heaven is shifting your address from barely enough to more than enough. Chosen one, when divine transfer begins, the first sign isn't abundance, it's agitation. Heaven shakes what cannot stay. You'll notice familiar patterns start to fail you. The job no longer fits. The community no longer fuels you. The things that once comforted now confine you. And that's how you know heaven is calling you higher. I remember a time when I was desperate to hold on to what I thought I needed. The apartment I prayed for, the security I worked so hard to maintain. Then, without warning, everything began to crumble. Rent raised, hours cut, friends distant. It felt unfair, but in hindsight, it was divine precision. Losing that place wasn't my downfall, it was my release. Because in the weeks that followed, provision showed up in ways that defied logic. People I didn't know became the vessels of my next breakthrough. That's what happens when heaven interrupts. The same God who disrupts your comfort provides your confirmation. So don't mourn what's leaving, bless it. You're not losing your home, you're being reassigned to your inheritance. Anointed One, your faith is the currency of this transfer. The world operates in transactions, heaven operates in trust. If you can hold peace when everything around you shakes, you'll access favor others can't explain. Divine wealth isn't always money, it's strategy, wisdom, and supernatural alignment. What you need next isn't just provision, it's perspective, and heaven is giving it to you. Every unanswered prayer, every rejection, every delay, all of it was heaven calculating perfect timing. The financial pressure wasn't to crush you, it was to teach you how to depend on supernatural flow. You've seen what your effort can build. Now, you're about to see what grace can deliver. Chosen One, your next miracle will not come through striving, it will come through surrender. You don't need to force what heaven has already confirmed. Stand still, speak peace. Watch doors open without handles. Watch favor flow where logic says it shouldn't. The divine transfer has already been authorized. You're simply walking into its manifestation. So breathe. Don't fight the shift. Don't fear the unknown. Because the very thing you're afraid to lose is what heaven has already replaced. Chosen One, heaven is not silent. What feels like absence is actually orchestration. God has been positioning every piece of your life with divine precision, even the ones that broke you. The loss you just felt, the instability around you. It's not random chaos. It's the sound of destiny, rearranging itself to match what heaven already decided about you. Anointed One, there are moments when divine protection looks like rejection. You prayed for God to open doors, but sometimes He answers by closing the wrong ones first, and it hurts. It feels like He's stripping you bare. But listen carefully. He is not taking something from you. He is taking something out of you. The fear, the need for control, the doubt that whispered you weren't ready. Those are the things being removed so that confidence and clarity can rise in their place. I've walked through those nights when you don't know how rent will be paid, when the job falls through, when the people you thought would help suddenly disappear. I remember pacing the floor with nothing but a quiet prayer and a promise. The Lord will provide. And He did not always through the people I expected, but through divine alignment that made no human sense. That's how heaven works. The help is rarely predictable, but it's always perfect. Chosen One, the Lord is not trying to make you comfortable, He's making you capable. Every closed door is carving resilience into your spirit. Every loss is sharpening discernment. You are being trained to recognize heaven's voice above the noise of fear. That's why this season feels so intense. You're not being punished, you're being tuned. The place you're about to lose is holy ground in disguise. God is cutting ties to small circles because He's calling you into kingdom circles. The people who can no longer walk with you were only assigned to your wilderness, not your promised land. Stop trying to keep relationships that expired when the lesson ended. You are not walking away from them, you are walking toward destiny. Anointed One, you've been praying for breakthrough, but breakthrough doesn't begin with miracles, it begins with obedience. And your obedience to stay calm, stay faithful, and stay expectant in this storm is what's unlocking the next phase. Heaven is not testing your strength, heaven is trusting your surrender. I feel it strongly. There is a supernatural financial shift unfolding. It won't arrive through lottery or luck, but through divine ideas, strategic connections, and unexpected favor. Heaven's economy doesn't operate on effort, it operates on alignment. You're about to receive not just money, but divine management, the ability to handle abundance without losing humility. The wealth coming is not for display, it's for distribution. You are being entrusted with resources because your heart is anchored in purpose. And yes, the shaking will continue for a little while longer, not because God is late, but because He's perfecting the setup. The transfer is ready, but the vessel must be steady. Don't panic when things seem to fall apart. Heaven is simply removing any structure that can't hold the blessing. Chosen one, hold your peace. The same God who gave you the vision is now building the provision. The promise has never been delayed, it's been developing. You are not waiting for breakthrough. Breakthrough is waiting for your readiness. Chosen one, heaven is clearing the stage. What once surrounded you is being stripped away, not to expose you, but to reveal what has always been within you. The spotlight of this season is not shining on your pain, it's illuminating your purpose. Every shift, every delay, every uncomfortable transition is God saying, I'm not done showing the world what I placed inside you. Anointed one, this is the refining fire that separates what's temporary from what's eternal. The foundation beneath you is being tested, not to see if it will break, but to prove that it won't. The pressure you feel is proof of construction. Heaven is building something around you, something permanent, something generational, something that cannot collapse when the storms return. There was a time when you prayed for comfort. Now you're being called into covenant. Comfort keeps you still, but covenant calls you higher. You weren't created for safety, you were designed for significance. That's why this transition hurts, because your spirit recognizes that elevation requires excavation. Chosen one, let me tell you from experience. When God begins to move you, He doesn't ask your permission, He confirms your purpose. I once begged Him to keep me where I was, thinking stability was His blessing. But He reminded me that stability without growth is just stagnation disguised as peace. He will never allow you to remain where your potential is suffocating. Heaven is stretching you because your next assignment is larger than your current capacity. You've been asking for a breakthrough, but breakthroughs rarely arrive without breaking. The cracks you see in your old life are not signs of failure, they are the first openings for new glory to flow through. Anointed one, don't misinterpret exhaustion as emptiness. You are not drained, you are being poured out. The difference is sacred. When God pours you out, it's not depletion, it's distribution. You are releasing old oil, so new anointing can flow freely. What feels like loss is actually a refill in disguise. Listen, I know the confusion that comes when things stop making sense. You start questioning if you heard God right, if you should have stayed quiet, if obedience was even worth it. But clarity always comes after surrender. You may not see the full picture yet, but trust this heaven does not waste pain. Every unanswered question is gathering meaning in the silence. Chosen one, the enemy wants you to believe you're losing ground, but heaven says you're gaining territory. The territory of peace, the territory of maturity, the territory of wisdom. You've been trained in private. Now heaven is calling you to build in public, not for attention, but for impact. You are stepping into influence not to prove worth, but to demonstrate faithfulness. There's a divine transaction underway. Heaven is transferring what once belonged to systems of greed into the hands of those who walk in humility. The wealth of the proud is being rerouted toward the obedient. The resources of those who manipulated are being released to those who build. This is that prophetic hour where justice looks like generosity. You will not chase it, it will locate you. Anointed one, hold this truth close. What God is building in you is not seasonal, it's eternal. When others see instability, heaven sees incubation. When they call it loss, heaven calls it labor. You are birthing something that will outlive your fear. So rest your heart. You're not breaking down, you're breaking open. Chosen one, listen, this is the part of the process where many give up. The pressure is rising, the uncertainty feels endless, and your spirit wonders if you misread the signs, but don't retreat. This is the tension before transformation. What you are feeling right now is not resistance, it's recalibration. Heaven is tuning your life to the right frequency for favor. Anointed one, the weight you carry is sacred. It's the weight of purpose pressing against the walls of your comfort. You're not under attack, you're under awakening. Every part of your being is being adjusted to operate in higher alignment. You've been surviving on yesterday's revelation, but heaven is now feeding you today's manna. Fresh wisdom, fresh discernment, fresh clarity. You've noticed the strange stillness lately, the quiet between decisions, the silence from people who once cheered you on. It's not rejection, it's protection. Heaven isolates before it elevates. There are doors that require your name alone on the invitation. This solitude isn't loneliness, it's incubation. God is forming something in secret that will later speak publicly. Chosen one, remember when Jesus multiplied the bread, he first broke it. That's what God is doing with you. The breaking isn't punishment, it's preparation. You are being multiplied for impact. The favor about to flow from your life will not only bless you, it will feed multitudes. But before multiplication comes the break. Before promotion comes pruning. You've been asking heaven for abundance, but heaven is asking you, can I trust you with overflow? Because overflow exposes what comfort hides. Can you stay humble when you have more than enough? Can you stay generous when doors open quickly? Can you still listen when others start listening to you? Anointed one, divine wealth is not about currency, it's about capacity. God is expanding your inner strength to carry the external blessing. That's why this season feels like stretching. Your heart is being made bigger. Your endurance is being multiplied. You're learning how to handle blessings without being bound by them. I know it's hard. I've been there, standing in the in-between, feeling heaven's promise, but seeing nothing tangible yet. You wake up one day believing fully, and by nightfall, the doubt creeps back in. But faith was never about feeling ready. It was about staying willing. I remember a moment when I almost gave up, when everything I built seemed to crumble. But in that silence I heard a whisper, "You're closer than you think." And I realized that proximity to breakthrough often looks like pressure. Chosen one, that's where you are. The spiritual tension you feel is heaven's contraction, the final push before manifestation. You're not being squeezed to suffocate, you're being pressed to produce. Every delay has been divine timing. Every frustration was spiritual formation. Heaven doesn't rush masterpieces. You may lose the place you live in, but not the presence you live from. When one structure falls, another emerges stronger, brighter, and built by divine architecture. You are being repositioned for reach, not reduced by circumstance. Anointed one, the transfer has already been decreed. The plans of men cannot override the promises of God. The wealth of those who hoarded will shift to the hands of those who healed. The platforms of the proud will make way for the voices of the pure. The world calls it chaos, heaven calls it correction. Chosen one, the shift is not coming, it's happening now. Heaven is reordering everything that concerns you. The noise may increase, but so will your discernment. The darkness may rise, but so will your glow. The hand of God is upon you, and this time it won't lift until your destiny is established. Stand firm. Your next chapter is not survival, it's stewardship. Chosen one, take a deep breath. You've made it through the fire, and you didn't burn. What you're standing in right now isn't the end of a storm, it's the calm before your unveiling. Heaven is about to make public what it has been perfecting in private. This is the moment when all the hidden work, all the nights of surrender, all the silent prayers start to form a visible pattern of divine purpose. Anointed One, you have walked through shaking and shadow, and now you are standing under open skies. The spiritual pressure you felt was never meant to crush you. It was meant to carve you. You've been shaped by divine intention, molded by obedience, refined by faith. You are not emerging wounded. You are emerging weaponized with peace sharper than fear and wisdom deeper than noise. Heaven's announcement over your life is simple. The waiting is over. The walls that tried to contain you are cracking. What was withheld is now being released. The very environment that once limited you will soon amplify you. You are about to see what it looks like when divine favor becomes visible reality. The tables are turning, and this time you won't have to chase. What's meant for you will find you. Chosen One, the place you are losing was never meant to hold the version of you that now exists. You've outgrown it spiritually, mentally, even energetically. Heaven is relocating you, not for punishment, but for positioning. You are being sent into new territory, carrying light for places that forgot how to see. You are heaven's ambassador in human form, a vessel chosen to redistribute divine abundance in every room you enter. And this abundance will come suddenly, not as chaos, but as confirmation. Debts will dissolve, ideas will spark, opportunities will surface without explanation. The Spirit of God is realigning resources, commanding creation itself to cooperate with your destiny. You'll begin to notice small signs. First, unexpected favor, restored energy, conversations that lead to breakthrough. Don't dismiss them. They are the ripples of a greater wave approaching. Anointed One, the wealth transfer is not just material, it's spiritual authority manifesting as earthly influence. Heaven is entrusting you with the power to rebuild, to restore, to release others from fear. This is why your process was so intense, because your assignment is so impactful. You were never being punished, you were being prepared. When you step into this next space, you will carry peace that confuses chaos. People will ask how you stayed calm when everything fell apart, and your answer will be simple: I didn't, heaven did. That's the testimony that will open hearts. That's the story that will break chains. Your life will speak louder than your words ever could. Chosen One, hear this clearly. No power, no person, no system can reverse what heaven has authorized. The blessing has already been signed in divine ink. You're not entering a new season, you are entering a new dimension. Time will no longer feel heavy, because you are now aligned with eternal rhythm. Everything that once delayed you will begin to accelerate in your favor. So walk boldly. The shaking was your graduation, the silence was your training ground, the tears were your anointing oil, and now, heaven says, rise. Rise into your rightful place, rise into your divine assignment. Rise with gratitude, grace, and grounded authority. Because you, Chosen One, are the living evidence that what God rewires, no darkness can reverse. This is your divine confirmation, your release, your renewal, your reign. The transfer is complete. The stars have always whispered truths we were too loud to hear. Maybe that's why the universe hides its answers in silence. You see, we spend years building rockets to escape gravity, yet the real weight has always been inside us. Memory, love, the ache of wanting to understand what was never meant to be solved. There's a quiet kind of beauty in losing something that was never yours to keep. Maybe this place, this version of your life, was never the destination, only a bridge between who you were and who you're becoming. Musk once said, "We are just atoms, rearranged by the universe to look back at itself and feel." And tonight, I think he was right. Because somewhere in that reflection, we find not logic, but longing, not progress, but peace. The truth is, love doesn't disappear, it just changes form. It hides in echoes, in the faint hum of circuits, in the light of stars that burned out long before we were born. Perhaps the people we've lost are still walking beside us, just one frequency away, waiting for the right silence to be heard again. So, if this spoke to your heart, stay a while, let the silence finish what words could not. Somewhere, between one heartbeat and the next, the universe remembers, and so do you.